Closing today's sessions is Charlotte Noir. She will take us inside the industry that has faced huge challenges as well. Charlotte and her team at Delivery Hero have set the bar on how to work successfully with global restrictions. She has created 500,000 fans in her Facebook work, and her insights will interest anyone who is driven to excel no matter what the obstacles are.
Thank you, Renee, and thanks for having me, Socialbakers. So today I will be talking to you about how to operate a food delivery platform during a global pandemic, and as well as the impact of COVID-19 on Mjam's business and our ways of working. First about Mjam. Mjam is one of the biggest food delivery platforms in Austria. It was founded in 2008 and joined Delivery Hero Holding in 2011. We have 3,000 restaurants on our platforms and all over the countries and in all major cities. And recently we added grocery, petrol station and pharmacy delivery to our portfolio, but more to that later. As you all know, COVID hit Europe in March 2020 pretty badly. And around March 13, the Austrian government decided to put a lockdown in place. That means that all business that were not seen as essential had to close or partially close for the public. And they also imposed a restaurant curfew. That means that they had to close after 3 p.m. But they were still allowed to deliver their food, especially with us, or if they have their own delivery in place. That means that we had a lot of work on our side that was new. So we had to call all the restaurants ourselves. We actually called 3,000 restaurants during that time and informed them about all the changes, the new laws, the new regulations and everything. We also provided informational material in several different languages, such as German, English, Turkish, Arabic, Chinese, and many more. What we also did is we talked to governmental agencies and tried to find out what we were allowed to do and what we weren't. And it was very difficult for us because the governmental agencies, they weren't very sure themselves because the lockdown was very new and everyone was a little unsure. So what I did is I actually tweeted to Sebastian Kurz, who is the Chancellor of Austria. And I asked him directly in a tweet if we were allowed to set up pickup stations. And he tweeted back within an hour saying, yes, we are allowed, but it has to be outside. The customer is not allowed to enter the restaurant and there has to be a safety distance of 2 meters. Which was really cool. Not only that he tweeted back, but also that we had a definite answer on our question that we've been asking governmental agencies for days at this point. So that was really cool. I'm also taking care of social media at Mjam. So what's very interesting to me is that we had a huge increase in inbound, in questions, in comments, and people asking us on social media. And these inquiries were mostly about whether we continue our service, health and safety concerns, the open or closed status of restaurants, and so on. And as you can see here, we had a huge increase in comments, in posts, in messages throughout all our platforms. And the time frame is between March and April 2020. So in this month, we had an increase of 1,000% in posts on Instagram, for example, and it was just a lot. And what we did is we actually created a file where we collected all questions and everything that came in. We tried to kind of like organize it by subject, so COVID related, food related, rider related, and so on. And then we prepared answers for that. We got the answers approved by our CEO, and this was kind of like our master document that we all used. So not only me for social media, but also our customer service. And that was really helpful because we had a streamlined process. We had the answers that were checked and approved, and everything went smoothly. That was really cool. Here are 3 social media posts that I chose that I posted in this time frame as well, so March to April 2020. And as you can see here on the bottom, there is these 2 hearts. This is actually a logo that we created for COVID or for this time. And it's actually moving. So when you see it online, it's kind of like a GIF. And it has a hashtag that says Zusammenhalten, which is an Austrian way of saying zusammenhalten or sticking together. And it was kind of our restaurant relief badge that we used. So we have it, and we showed it in every single creative that we posted. And the message that we were trying to get across was, you have to order to support your restaurant. Because of the curfew, they lost a lot of income, right? They were only allowed to operate until 3 p.m. and everything else they just lost. It was just a massive loss in revenue for the restaurants. And we were always trying to say, hey, if you want to support your local restaurants, if you want to support your neighborhood, please order. Not only with Mjam, it is not about, like making money during a pandemic, but it's a way to support the restaurants. And the left image, it's kind of like 6 ways to support your local restaurant. And then on the right side, you see the information of contactless delivery. So how it works, what they do, and in the bottom picture, it shows again the logo. And what we did is we prepared restaurant vouchers. So the customer buys a voucher now, but redeems it later, so that the restaurant has a cash flow that's still like a lot of cash coming in, but the redemption of the voucher will be during a more safer time. So this is 3 initiatives that we did on social media. Okay. And apart from that, we also had several different other measures that we did. As I said before, pickup zones was something that we put in place. So as I said, it is usually a table in front of a restaurant outside where the customers can pick up the food themselves, as opposed to getting it delivered, right? And it was something that we got approved by the Chancellor of Austria, so that was really cool. And also contactless delivery is something that I mentioned before. It actually means that if you get your food delivered, the rider will place down the food, ring the doorbell, step back 2 meters, and then when the customer opens the door, they don't really have someone just very close to them. So it's like a safety distance. And we also told our riders not to touch doorbells or doorknobs with their hands, but use their elbows to ring the doorbell, for example. And also what we did is we had an online office hour, so to say. So everything that we did, we put online. So rider recruiting, job interviews, general talks, onboardings, all of that we usually do in our office, we now did online. So they had like a certain time frame every day where they could call us or Zoom or like Skype meetings or whatever, and discuss everything they wanted, just to limit personal contact. Then also what we did is we actually we doubled the payout frequency for our restaurants just to support them with their cash management. That means that if you order on Mjam, we collect the amount that the restaurant will get, and then we pay it out, kind of like a salary. But what we did, we actually increased and we doubled that frequency so that they have more cash, that there is not a long waiting period. And that really helped them. Also, what we did is we introduced online tipping. It was something that was highly requested by our customers because they want to support the riders, and we try to limit cash just to limit the infection, so to say, with cash, with money. And then our developers, they built an online tipping tool in a very short time, and it was just exactly what the customers wanted. So also something that we got on social media was the feedback, hey, we would like to give tips online. And then we built that tool. Also what we did, and I said that earlier, is that we introduced non-food delivery. That was in the summertime, so around August. So what we did, we introduced grocery deliveries. So what you can do now is get drinks, bread rolls, pharmacy products, and drugstore items delivered to your door with Mjam, which is really cool because, as you might know, in Germany and in Austria, supermarkets close on Sunday. So it is cool if you run out of things, and kind of like in a pandemic, stock is sometimes limited. So it's a way to get your groceries delivered to you. What's very interesting is that we saw that the order behavior changed a little bit. So before COVID, people usually ordered on the weekends and in the evening, with like a peak ordering time around 7 p.m. on a Sunday. And with COVID, that really changed. So we saw an increase in breakfast and lunch orders. And I think that's because people were working from home and they were also ordering their lunch from home. Maybe they used to go to a canteen or they go to a restaurant. And now with COVID, they were stuck at home and they ordered. And as you can see here, we had a almost 60% increase in lunch orders between February and May. And in that same time period, we had a 500% increase in breakfast orders, which is just insane. I would have never thought that, because ordering is usually like a dinner time activity, and it turned out it isn't. So that was really interesting to see. Lastly, the changes in our team structure. So COVID not only had an impact on our business, but also on the way we work at Mjam. We have been in home office pretty much since March. Yes, the office opened its doors again, but it's with limited desk availability. So we in marketing, we are a team of 10, but in our room, we're only allowed to have 4 people there at all times. And so the majority of our team is still in home office. But what we introduced is daily morning check-ins and kind of like how we are meetings, because this is something that we see is really lacking, is the personal connection to our colleagues. And so what we do, we meet almost daily because we introduced also a meeting-free Wednesday. So it's not really daily morning check-ins, but almost daily, where we talk about what we do on this day, kind of like our meetings, our daily business, but also on a personal level, like how we are. You know, what do you do on a weekend and so on, all of that we usually do during lunch. And we now have a virtual water cooler meetings. That's kind of like an ongoing Zoom meeting where you can just join and chat with your colleagues. It's kind of like a coffee break. And that's really fun. And lastly, we did a team event on a boat, more in the summertime as well. But that was really fun. So we had a barbecue on a boat. It was socially distancing, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we are coping with COVID, but it's still very socially distant. And yeah, this is the end of my presentation. I thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
We hope that you've enjoyed this journey inside 3 key industries and how current challenges have been faced. We would like to thank Bailing, Ahmad and Charlotte for not only sharing their insights, but for their inspiring work overall. That brings us to the end of this session, but make sure you check out the next session on the value of experience as we bring you even more insights. Plus, the best thing about Socialbakers Engage is that you have lifetime access to these sessions. If you ever need inspiration for your own campaigns, you know where to find us. Don't forget to check our social media channels to stay up to date with the latest trends. We all know that our markets are changing every single day, so the newest solutions always help. If you have any questions, click on the question icon at the top right corner of your screen. If you're not watching us on the Engage website, email us at engage@socialbakers.com. And of course, be sure to get in on the conversation by using #SocialBakersEngage. Thank you for joining us, and be safe.